Yo, hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. Thanks for dropping by for yet another chess video. We're going to be continuing our exploration into the iChessOne board, as I've alluded to in my previous video, where I mainly focused at showing you guys the external characteristics of the board at that time, and a little bit about how the board played. Today we're going to be further diving into the connectivity options with regards to the iChessOne, but also kind of showing you guys all the different ways that you can play and enjoy this board. We're going to be taking a look at how the iChessOne is going to function using Fritz and also Shredder. I will also allude further to the other programs which I don't have on this computer, but hopefully for those of you guys who are interested in all these things and the different options, you guys will find this video super interesting. So before we continue, please be sure to pause that video and hit that like. Let me know what you think about the board, and we'll dive right in, okay? I love the way that this board feels and looks. I love the way that it plays, whether it's online or against the AI. It's going to be so similar to playing somebody over the board like in real life. That's the most real life experience I've had with any board, basically. So the iChessOne app is still undergoing further developments and revisions. I had some people ask whether or not the AI section will be available and what to expect out of the AI section. I just want to go ahead and clarify that the AI section will be available. It is already in the actual application. It just has not fully been developed to where we can test things out, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks I'll be able to make another video specifically focusing on the actual AI section within the iChess application. I was just very excited because of some of the major updates that this board has received just recently that would allow us to use Fritz. Lucas Chess will be available, Fritz, Arena. I'll show you guys up close on what all the different applications are going to be available. Hopefully by the end of this video I will also briefly mention some of the things that might be important to some people, such as the adjustments that you can make within the settings section of the application, such as the dimming and the brightening of the LED lights, and also the configuration of the LED lights. For example, if you wanted a certain color to show up when you're moving a piece in a certain way, or some kind of an indication to basically where you can customize those settings to your own personal preference in such a way that you can make your experience the closest you want it to basically being as comfortable as you want it. I wanted to preface this part by saying the connection between the Windows, the Linux, and the iChessOne board would not have been possible, or at least not would have been as expedient if it has not been for Mr. Graham O'Neill. He's the person behind all the development of the DLL files that allow us to connect many of these electronic boards to many of the chess applications that we've grown to love. So I would like to express my deepest gratitude towards Graham O'Neill and all the work that he's done towards putting together these applications that allow us to make these connections possible. So thank you, Graham O'Neill, and we hope to see further developments from you with regards to not only the iChessOne board but many other boards. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and dive into looking at the board and looking at some of the things that I want to share with you guys. Okay, so for this specific section I had to actually take all my stuff inside because I was getting such a glare on the screen outside that it just didn't seem like it was going to work. But yeah, so I'm going to show you guys a couple of different applications. Hopefully you guys will find these interesting. I have a Windows 11 working on this Alienware laptop. I've shown this particular Windows before when I was testing some of the other electronic chessboards. So what we got to do is, let's just dry off by showing you guys the way that Fritz works. You get in Fritz, and I hope the screen isn't too bright, but I'm going to show you in the Enter and Analyze section, since this is a section where you can gain direct access into using the board. And up here, sorry, some people do like screen record, but I'm old school, so I just recorded it with my camera. But up here where it says board, right up here on the very top, we have the option of using what they call a DGT board. Previously to using this particular app, I have downloaded and installed the Graham O'Neill extension file, the DLL files that you need to actually have preloaded prior to even opening the Fritz. But once you preload them and you click this particular fragment, it says here DLL driver for iChessOne developed by Graham O'Neill 2024. And at this point what I do is it says down here that it's searching for the board. I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I'm going to turn the board on, and I've turned it on, and now it's in pairing mode. And I'm going to just go ahead and click save. And now it's connecting, and it has connected. Okay, and it just says, so the connection, as you can see, was very quick. It just says go ahead and put all your pieces in this particular configuration, and once you press OK, your game is ready. Also, one of the things worth mentioning is you have all these different colors that you can choose from. And when I spoke to Graham O'Neill online, he was specifically emphasizing the development that he's done with regards to, look at how many different colors that you're going to be able to choose from. And these are going to be the colors that will light up as far as the LEDs on your board. So we can choose which colors we want. We can choose air colors. We can choose whether it's going to flash or not. We can choose the intensity of the LED lights, which Graham did advise me that I would put the intensity of the lights down a little bit so that you guys can see the color differences, in which we can go ahead and do. LED displays always, never, computer moves only, so you can set it to where the computer is going to be the only ones where the LEDs light up, and yours are just going to be not lighting up. I find it to have always like where yours light up too, to be a little bit easier, just so that you're sure that your moves are actually where they are and which moves you're making, you know, makes sense. You can have the option of using Bluetooth, or in this case the COM, which is the USB port. So if you want to connect this to your USB via USB-C, you can do that, but Bluetooth works really well in this particular case. As we see, the connection's already been established. Graham O'Neill, the user manual can be downloaded here, and yeah, really, once again, thank you, Graham O'Neill. This is really awesome. So once you're finished, all right, now we're ready to go. Let me just zoom out a little bit and show you how that works. Okay, so I'm kind of going to be a little bit out of the frame, but I wanted to set things up, and hopefully you guys are going to be able to see a little bit. So now that we've got things connected and we're ready to go, you can go ahead and get started. As you can see here, now this particular option that I have turned on here within Fritz is basically analysis. So this is not playing against the Fritz AI. If you wanted to do that, you'd have to go to another section, or just click here to where you want to play against the AI, and that will allow you to do that if you wanted to. But in a lot of situations, for those of you guys who are using Fritz specifically to analyze certain positions, you will have that option, and I'm just kind of showing you guys. Hopefully you're going to be able to see the screen and it's not going to be super blurry, but if it is, I do apologize. But mainly what I want you guys to pay attention to is just, you know, the fact that it's working okay and it's not giving us any glitches or anything like that. So we're just going to go ahead and make some moves. And so hopefully you guys are going to be able to see that things are working pretty well here. You know, something along those lines, okay? There we go. Sometimes my computer will go into... So that's Fritz. Fritz, for those of you guys who are not aware, as far as if maybe you haven't used Fritz, Fritz is like the Photoshop of the chess world. Essentially, it might be a little tricky to get into. Some of the features might seem a little archaic because Fritz, it seems like, you know, some of the settings and stuff on Fritz do feel to me like I'm still using Windows 95. But it is a really powerful software for analysis, and really, as you guys can hear the computer right now, you hear the computer is really taking like most of its processing power, because right now I have turned on like continuous evaluation. So what it's doing is it's searching through every possible move at every second based on depth of like 17 or 18, and it's taking most of the computing power to basically write out information as we go, as we play. So this is a really nifty software to use for anybody that's really wanting to either study any particular position, or they are just wanting to get a deeper level of understanding of, you know, how the game is progressing. Fritz might be something that you might want to look into. I've shown you guys how Fritz works. I'm not an expert on Fritz. I just wanted to show you guys the connection. USB, Bluetooth between my computer works really well. Let me just go ahead and also show you how Shredder works. Now the cool thing about Graham O'Neill's application is that once you have it preloaded into your Windows, you don't actually have to preload it again. at any point. You're just ready to go. Like we've just, I quit Fritz, and now we're just going to quickly jump into Shredder. This is Shredder 5 Classic. I downloaded this application from the Shredder website. I think I paid about $29 for their basic version, but it's a really nice little application. This was, I was playing against the AI here via Shredder at, I think the ELO of the opponent was somewhere in 1400 something, so it wasn't super. But this is the position I was playing as white, and I ended up with this particular position. So, anyway, so if we want to go ahead and start a new game, we're gonna go ahead and the nice thing about Shredder is that when you start a new game, as you're playing games on Shredder, it'll sort of continuously analyze your strengths and your weaknesses, and it'll kind of spew out what it believes that your difficulty level should be, and it will be able to adjust the application. So it's like right over here, you can say player with a 14-17, you can have opponent with my strength, and it will continuously switch this as you play more and more games to kind of really understand. So I've only used it for a couple of times, and I didn't really play the games to completion, so it kind of knocked my ELO down somewhere. But also here it says like club player at 1590, you have a strong player at 1968, a master at 2330. So you can choose all the different ones. So let's just go ahead and we'll choose and then we'll choose a random color. So let's just go ahead and we'll start with white, since it's going to be easier for me to show you guys how this works. But go ahead and click start, and the pieces will be realigned back. This kind of cool little animation that they got going on there. And then you go to external board right over here. And then when we click on external board and click on this DGT, once again we get that same driver that we've seen before. This is Graham O'Neill's driver, very similar. As you see, everything's ready to go, and then you click OK, and you're ready to go. Shredder will allow you to play against the AI, or you can also analyze. And I'm hoping I can kind of bring this a little bit closer. Maybe you guys will see it on the screen. I know it might be a little difficult for you to see all the little details here, but hopefully you guys will be able to see those. Okay, I'm going to be playing for the light, so I'm kind of playing in reverse here, but I'm just going to show you how it works. And it does make some sounds here, which is kind of cool. So they're going to start by playing the Sicilian defense in this case. So because I'm playing in reverse, things are going to be a little bit trickier for me, but I'm just going to go ahead and do that. He's going to, okay. You can see things are working pretty well now. Like they will have a continuous little bar graph that'll be drawn out. So if you're playing against this program and you want to be able to see like where you are as far as who's winning or losing, you can always look at this little part right here, and it'll draw out whether or not it feels like you're ahead or maybe you're losing. And if you are losing, you can always like show you. Also, the cool thing is I played with this several times, and if you do make a blunder that is like a pretty bad blunder, it will actually like warn you, and it'll say like, hey, you made a pretty bad blunder, like would you like to take your move back? And so that's definitely also kind of neat here. You can also set it in the settings here where you can tell them that you don't want to have any takebacks, but if you're playing kind of more or less sort of casually, you can always have that option. So once again, a little bit up close, you can see that you're getting this sort of a graphical representation of who's winning, who's losing. Looks like once the opponent has taken the bishop over here, it looks like my position has improved ever so slightly. But yeah, so this is a Shredder Classic 5. I think it retailed for $29. There was also an option of getting a more advanced version. It had a few more databases that would, I guess, if you're really studying and trying to understand a lot of different openings, you might need that extra bit of information. But for my purposes, just to sort of play a few casual games, this works really well. I really like how Shredder application is really kind of laid back, but at the same time, it has a lot of different options. In fact, so many different options that I haven't really had the time to study it. I might have to actually see online and learn how Shredder works and all the different nuances and intricacies. But if you've used Shredder before, you know how it works. And now that we've seen how you can connect the iChessOne board, you hopefully have a little bit of a better idea as far as how all that would work for you if you chose to get yourself one of these boards. Another thing that I wanted to mention is with regards to Graham O'Neill's DLL file, the DLL file that will allow you to use applications within Windows to run your iChessOne board. When we click right over here, you can see that the type of applications that will be available are going to be Arena. You know, right now I've installed it for chess-based Fritz and Shredder. If you do have Arena or CBMU Arena, which I believe I read before is some kind of an emulation, I'm not really sure, but if you're familiar with these, you should know that these options are also going to be available. So if you're playing in Arena and you want to use the iChessOne board, you have that option. Because I don't have those, I can't simply install, because if I click here to install those, it will ask me, please show me the folder where the application is installed. Because I don't have that, I cannot install it at this time. And then also this UCI WinBoard engine is also going to be available. So another thing that I talked to with Graham about is he did say that at some point hopefully we'll be able to use the iChessOne board with Lucas Chess. Now Lucas Chess is an application that's relatively easy and kind of basic looking over here, that will allow you to similarly play some games using that connection between the Windows and the iChessOne board. And over here if you click on the setup of the Lucas Chess and you go to boards, you can actually have an external digital board right over here. Now iChessOne at this time is not available. You can see that there's a Chestnut DGT, this Certabo, Chestnut DGT Pegasus, Millennium, all of which I believe have been developed by Graham O'Neill, as you can see right over here. Square Off Pro, Cytec, Novak USB. So a lot of different boards, but not yet iChessOne. And he told me that it is a little bit more involved to make driver, because it doesn't use that other DLL driver, and it has to be sort of embedded into the actual Lucas Chess. So until Lucas Chess itself ends up having an update, we're probably not going to see that. But I'm hoping that Lucas Chess is going to have an update soon, and then we'll be able to test that option out as well. If you guys are familiar with this particular application and you know how it works, please share in the comments below whether you think that Lucas Chess would benefit from you having iChessOne as sort of the electronic chessboard, and how the overall experience with Lucas Chess is. Okay, so now with regards to the iChessOne application, we will have the option to play against the AI right over here, and if we go into that, we will see that there's going to be 8 different AI strength levels. Now, this whole section here is undergoing some major revisions, so whether or not we'll have the same layout, I'm not really sure. We'll get to see that. This section is currently not, you can't actually play against the AI right now, but once the updates and revisions have been done, I'm looking forward to actually be able to show you guys this section in a lot more detail. As of right now, the only things you can adjust is you can play with time or without. If you want to play with time, you can adjust this time all the way up to 90 minutes and 30 seconds. So that is where we are with regards to that. Then you can choose whether you want to play light, random, or dark, and then you can choose among the different. It would be nice to see like an equivalent ELO for anybody that's kind of wanting to play against somebody of their own skill level. If we click on 5, and we could see instantaneously like approximate ELO, let's say 1850 or something. We click 6, so it would be like 1950 or 2000 or whatever. But you don't actually have the button right now to be able to play, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to show you guys this section, but like I said, the application is still further being developed. As far as playing online, I did show you guys that option last time when we did the video. That was when I played online. Now if you go to settings, the current integration for playing online is through Lichess. If we go to the section where they allow you to settings, connected boards, and then we scan for a board, we see that iChessOne does show up, but when we click it, It does connect to the board temporarily because you can see the board light up, but at this time, like I said, things are still being developed. So we're going to see that be an option here. Selected device is not supported. That will become an option here shortly as they kind of continue to update their board and their iChessOne. When you go into the iChess, it immediately will find your board, which is really nice, kind of very simple. We've seen the option of playing against the other player, so you can just play in the same room, a classic style play here. We've seen me review that last time. This is really nice for when you're playing against somebody in the same room and you want to get that game recorded. And it will be nice also to see that at the end when they do all the revisions and updates. We're also going to be hopefully able to see how you can export those files into PGN and then be able to use those files somewhere else for analysis, such as Fritz and other applications, which is really, really cool. As far as the settings part, we do have a couple of different things. We'll have a language adjustment here. At this time, it's just English. Receive challenges, so I'm assuming that if you'll be able to have notifications sent to your phone if somebody, say, for example, on the other side of the planet wants to play a game with you and they specifically send you a challenge. Something along those lines, so that's really cool. The Bluetooth status, we have the actual integration with Lichess, and then we have, so let me quickly run you through some of the options. We have the board brightness, which is the general LED brightness level. Then we have the board status highlight intensity here, and this will adjust the brightness of various board states, such as the game end, start, FEN, power and on and off events. Then we have the game event highlight intensity, and this will adjust the brightness for the in-the-game events, such as the remote opponent moves, the AI or the online, legal moves, available moves, hints, move strength during AI games, pre-move for AI or online, and piece placement confirmation. It will flash in green when a piece is lifted or placed. Okay, so definitely quite a lot of different things. That the highlight action, highlight square action here, this indicates which square is undergoing change, the piece is being moved or placed. So single square indication, the users can choose between single square indication and border coordinate highlighting for how the moves are highlighted on the board. The default is going to be single square. So like in this particular case, on the board, instead of showing you guys a specific square, you can have square that will light up on one side and on the other if you choose it the other way, but most people will prefer just right next to the piece. You'll have the highlight opponent moves only. We've discussed that option, so if you turn that on, your options, like when you move the pieces, there will be no LED lighting up. It's just going to be for the opponent. The highlight available moves, that's kind of neat. We've seen that in my previous video. When you lift a piece up, it will show you where all the different squares that the piece can be moved to. That's kind of neat. We've seen something like that starting with the chessboard, but theirs was a little bit more advanced where you can kind of touch the piece and it would show you all the different pre-moves. You have the pre-moves. You can enable or disable and select the color for moves that are waiting for the opponent's move. It will not be available in offline play, but will be available online. I currently have this turned off. I don't really dabble much in pre-moves. I know some people do pre-moves when they play online, but this might be more something that you'd be taking advantage of in like correspondence games, like daily correspondence games, to where you can pre-move, set things so that when the opponent makes their move, you will immediately make your move. Post that, which is kind of, it's beneficial for those purposes. We also have the rotation mode option here. This enables the automatic board rotation with black pieces starting on rows 1 and 2. So instead of, like, if let's say your board is set in a particular way to where you don't want to move the board around, but you're sitting in one side, you can actually just click on that rotation of the move, and then it will recognize your pieces. So you set up the dark pieces on where the light pieces should be, it'll recognize that that's the way that you want to set it up on the board, and it will be okay with it. It's not going to, like, you can always turn that off if you wanted that option to be disabled, but I really like it because that way you don't actually have to turn your board around, which is really neat. Now you have the square color settings. You can choose those different colors here. See, if you hit on that, like move from, here we can choose red, yellow, white. So we have a lot of different colors here to choose from. And then move to, you can adjust that. And then we have the hint option too, you can adjust that. Just basically how, if for example you've played in some other applications and you really wanted it to adjust to a certain color to where you've used to that color, then that's really neat to see. And then you can hit whether or not you want it to show up or not. So if we have everything showed up, it'll give us all these different options. So definitely a lot of different things right now. Even though it's not a fully developed program, we can see there's going to be a lot of potential. Okay, so here we are. I realized that even though I really wanted to do most of this video outside, with the way that my computer screen is kind of dim to begin with, it was really hard for me to be able to show you guys what I wanted to show you outside. But if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button. Share the video if you can. If you feel like there's people out there that would benefit from watching this video, or just benefit from being introduced to some of these really cool boards, send them that video. Comment below, let me know what you think. Let me know about all the different things that you are hoping to see as far as developments in this particular board. And yeah, I was really excited about the board and the way that it functions. I've been able to test, even when I initially got the iChessOne with the cord, which was still kind of like half a year ago, and I was being able to test it out. I played a number of games, and it was unfortunate when I had to send it back for further developments, but now I'm like super excited. I've played a number of games on this board, and I really can conclude by saying that like the way that you play with this board, it really does feel like you're playing somebody else in the same room. Like there's none of that sort of feeling where you're like, wait, yeah, but it's still not the same. No, like here you can very, very actively say that like it does feel like you're playing in the same room with the same person. In fact, I was so excited about being able to play on this board, I was able to convince my wife to buy a small little table that I will permanently put in my office. And I will permanently secure the iChessOne board to that table so that I can play games whenever I want to play. Because most of the time I end up playing either outside, or I go to one room to another room, and aside from that I always have to like put the pieces up and everything. I want to use the iChessOne permanently somewhere. So I bought a little table for about $148 off of Bed Bath & Beyond. I will send you guys a link below. I haven't received the table yet, but it's going to be like a table that's just big enough. I think it's like 30 by 30 inches a square and about 30 inches height. So it's going to be a nice little dark wood table without any frills. Well, that's about it. Hopefully you guys have found this video interesting. And if you had, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.